So Burnley at home should have been a game that was straightforward for Chelsea, easy 3 points, but it wasn't. And yet again, we find ourselves in a position where we've lost points from a winning position. And our home form this season has also been shocking as well. Terrible form at home, which is hardly winning any home games. And this is what is so frustrating about this is the fact that Stamford Bridge used to be a place that was feared by all oppositions. Now every team that comes away to Chelsea is looking at it thinking, well, we could take something today. And Burnley had a game plan, but should have gone out the window really in the first minute when João Pedro scored. And that's what we've been wanting to see for a while. The team start better, start fast, and they did. We took the lead and we dominated the entire game, absolutely in all areas, dominated, but could not kill the game off. And I think two areas, really, two key things is why we didn't get that result over the line at the weekend. Two things. First off is the fact we can't kill a game off. Cannot kill a game off. And that's been a problem all season. The fact that we don't score enough goals for the chances we create. We create so many chances, but can't put the ball in the back of the net enough. And there seems to be a lot of trying to walk the ball in the net. There seems to be a lot of shots not being taken, and when they are, it's almost too late. We let the team get back and organise a bit more, and we had so many chances to kill Burnley off. We could have been out of sight in that game, but not even that. It's the type of game that even if it was just okay, we win 1-0, not great performance, but we got the job done, fine. But we can't win games 1-0. We don't seem to be able to do that in this day and age, and that comes down to the other big problem, which is the defence. The fact that we can't seem to hold on to a lead. We can't seem to kill a game off, and then what always happens is the other team comes back into it. And our last two games we played in the Premier League, both at home, Leeds and Burnley, it's happening both of them. And the only team that have lost more points in the Premier League this season from a winning position is West Ham, who are currently in the bottom three. So that says all you need to know really about the problems we're having in that area. The other thing that you could really say about that game at the weekend, that where it did kind of start going wrong, because we was in control up until about 70 minutes when Wesley Fofana had the sending off. And this is down to Liam Rosinier. This is where he did get it wrong at the weekend. The substitutions he made then were poor. To pretty much take all the threat off, all the attackers off, was a mistake. Because what it did is we'd done exactly what Burnley wanted us to do. We invited pressure on them. What we were doing was controlling the game, and we still could have done that with 10 men. There was no reason to actually change the approach in that moment in time, but he did. And then we found ourselves in a position where we was under pressure, where we was hanging on for the rest of the game, where the best we could then hope for was a 1-0. And even when we did concede the equaliser, this is the even more stupid thing, we actually could have still won it in the final minute. Liam Delap has to bury that chance, but he doesn't. I thought for sure that's going in, but no, it wasn't. And that's not the first time he's missed a chance like that. And briefly on the lap, it is worrying. I'm not like saying, oh yeah, I'm writing him off or anything, for sure, but it's worrying the form he's on. And we've been here so many times before with strikers, so many times, like in recent years, but for years as well. We've had our great strikers, but we've had a lot that were supposed to be really good and done really well for other clubs. So they've come to Chelsea and just not had it for whatever reason. And Delap's had his problems. He's not had game time. He's also had the lengthy injury as well. And when he first came in the Club World Cup in the summer, it looked really good. But he's worrying in the Premier League because we've been here so many times with his strikers, like I say. And the chances he's missing, chances he should be putting away, it's not just like a couple. There is a lot of chances, especially over recent weeks, against Hull as well. What was he doing there? It's not the first time. So it's a bit of a worry. Defenders as well. In terms of defenders, people might disagree, because I know that there's a real thing now. There's a lot more younger players that are playing at the top level, having the important roles in the team. But I really do think we need an experienced defender to come in the summer. In the winter transfer window, there's rumours about us potentially going in for Bastoni, who obviously plays for Inter Milan, highly experienced player and international as well, top defender. And that's what I think we need, more, for the quality, but also for the fact that we need a leader. There's no leader in defence. There's a real sense of panic every time a team comes at us. It feels like there's a chance they could score. And Burnley didn't come at us much. They hit us on the counter a few times because, like I say, we dominated the game so much. But every time they did, on the few occasions they did, especially after that sending off, we just looked like we wouldn't be able to defend properly. And that was and then we had 7 defenders on the pitch as well, and because he took all the attackers off, took all the attacking threat off. So the fact we couldn't stop that goal going in with 7 defenders on the pitch says it all really about where our defence is at the moment. I like Chalobah, but he's been making some mistakes recently. Fofana's had some good performances. Some other games where he's not quite shown up in as much. He's obviously got that red card now, so he won't be available for the next game. And I mean, all our defenders, it does feel like almost like that they need a more experienced defender next to them. In terms of the centre-backs, at least anyway, I'm talking about the centre-backs in particular here, really. Badiashile, unfortunately, the performances I've seen from him, I just don't think he's good enough. It has to be said, I just don't see how he's good enough. I think he makes too many mistakes. I think he takes way too long to release the ball. And all this stuff, I just think is actually, it's cost us this season. In certain games, you've got Tosin, not had as much game time this season. Last season, I thought he was good. Like, he's not like that. He's only 27, but for our squad, he's a really experienced player. And last season, I thought, as a real leader, I thought he was really, really good. I know he's not had the game time this season, but when he has played, to be honest, he's not looked great at all, to be honest, really. Levi Colwill's injuries obviously really hurt us. In my opinion, he's our best centre-back we've currently got at the club. So to have had him out the whole season, he's obviously, has really hurt us for sure. And I think once we get him back from injury, I think things will look a bit different. That said, I still think we need that more. I still think we need a bit of experience there. We need a leader, someone that's going to command the defence. Think what Thiago Silva would do. That's the type of player we need. Someone who's level-headed. So when things do start not going away in the game, there's someone there to just calm everything down, to keep control of things. So that's what happens so often. Is what I do think we lose control of it, and there was a real sense of panic when that red card happened at the weekend, which there was no real need for that. I mean, and I think the substitutions Rosigne made shown that. Rosigne, I've really liked so far. I don't want to give too much criticism because so far I think he's went about the job really well. I like him as a manager. I think he speaks really well. I think I've really liked what he's done so far. And he has done really well. It's got to be said. So far in the Premier League under Rosigne, we're unbeaten. But he's got it wrong at the weekend, and he also got it wrong in that Arsenal game in the away leg in the League Cup as well. The approach was wrong right from the start. We were too negative and all of that. So he needs to be a bit careful because you know what we're like with managers, and it does feel like we really have got to get in the. Well, we have really got to get in the Champions League this year, and now it feels like out of the 3 or 4 that are in the mix, we're the one that's most up against it. Now we face Arsenal at the weekend. Now we really, really need something from that game. We need a win, really, but we can't afford to lose. If we lose, I'm not really sure where we're going to go from there. United have shown so much improvement under Michael Carrick. They're really picking up now. They look good they're looking good. Liverpool, though, there's an inconsistency about Liverpool, but the thing with them is that we've seen this before with them. When they've had a poor year, when they've underperformed, quite often what happens is they go on a good run towards the end of the season, like a really, really good run, secure Champions League. I think I could see that happening this season, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, it could well be 5 teams qualify for the top 4 through the Premier League this season. But that said, we're in the position we're in right now. I still think we'd be in real danger of missing out for sure with Man United and Liverpool. Villa not over the line yet. Villa could still fall back down out of their current 3rd place, could fall back, I suppose. But again, I think we need to be winning. That's the sort of game we need to be just winning comfortably, that Burnley game, just to sort of ease the pressure a bit on these, because we've got big games coming up. We've got a lot of hard games, and it's going to be an exciting time because we're still in 3 competitions. We can still get top 4. We could still, FA Cup, Champions League, still in them. So it could be a really, really exciting finish to the season. But we do need to really up our game, I think, because there's been a lot. There's been good. There's been some good this season. There's definitely been a lot that's good, and I think we've got world-class players for sure. We've got world-class players. We've got quality. But what we don't have is an experienced squad. And I think this is the problem, I think that the disciplinary issue shows that. The fact we've had so many red cards this season, I think, shows that. I think there's a lot of young players there. There's no real experienced player who's going to get control of things. And I think that's what we lack. I really do. Because I think it's shown in the way that we deal with going down to 10 men. That there seems to be a panic. This is always panic. And then the way that we quite often approach situations in the game where there seems to be a lot of panic as well, that there's no real need for. It seems to, and there's just this nervous energy about us, even when we're playing quite well, and I don't really understand that. But we have, we have in the last sort of 2 seasons improved. We're a better team today than we were 2 years ago under Pochettino, for sure, 100%. And yeah, we've obviously signed big players as well, but a lot of those players, the real important players in the squad today, Reece James, Enzo, Casado, Cole Palmer, they was all here then. So, we have shown improvement, and Maresca definitely deserves his credit for that, for sure. Because he played a significant part in that. Whatever went wrong towards the end, he did play a big part in that, getting us to this point. We have progressed to a point. It just feels like we're still missing something, and the fact that there's been some real poor defensive performances this season as well, and the fact we're not killing games off, I think that really highlights those issues. We still have a lot of issues, I think, that need to be addressed, despite the improvement over the last 2 seasons or so. So, as for the games we've got coming up, I mean, this Arsenal game in particular is always big game against Arsenal. Obviously, always big, always whatever the circumstances are. But the fact we're in such a, we can't afford more of a slip up now. There's a little margin for error now in terms of trying to get in the top 4. We really need to perform in these style of games. So this Arsenal game is a game we have to get something from now. And the fact we've got such a poor recent record against Arsenal is worrying coming into this, for sure. We've shown that we can show up in the big games this season, for sure, against Man City, and we drew with Arsenal at the Bridge. So, we are capable on our day, see what we did to Barcelona as well in the Champions League, a capable side. But it's just whether or not the team can play like that all the time, because I think we're going to need, in the games we've got coming up, in all competitions, we're going to need some of our best performances of the season so far. And there has been an inconsistency about certain players, and also just about the team in general. And we have a big squad now, but there seems to be a case of that a lot of the reinforcements don't seem to be quite up to it. We're still reliant on a lot of the more established players, even in the lesser sort of fixtures. In the cup games, we've had to bring big players off the bench to sort it out, like the Cardiff game, like the Charlton game, the Lincoln game earlier on in the season. All those games in the cups, we've had to, that we put a weaker team out in theory was good enough to get the job done. We've had to bring players off of the bench to sort it out. And I think that's the thing. We've got a few players that are clearly quite worn out as well. I mean, Pedro Neto, coming off the pitch on the Saturday, that's just gone against Burnley. You can tell he looks so worn out. He could barely walk off the pitch. It's because he's played so much football, and he's a player that does work hard. He does a lot of running, so this going to happen. But it just feels like, and I don't really know what's going on with Garnacho on that note as well. He doesn't seem to be getting much game time. There's all these rumours about him being linked with a move away, and whether he's happy or not. He never seems to get on with Maresca, but then he's played even less under Rosinier, so something seems a bit wrong there. Maybe that's just a topic for another day. I think there's a lot to maybe explore with Garnacho, actually. But, all this stuff's a bit worrying. But I do think the squad overall, it's a very, very, it's a good squad in the sense that there's a lot of togetherness. I think you can see that in the way they celebrate. They really want to win, and they really want to do well for the club and for each other. But I think sometimes they do, with it being a young team, I think sometimes they aren't very level-headed. They do sort of lash out and stuff, and I think that shows in and that might be in reaction to decisions or whatnot, or reaction to something, but it's also just in the game as well. I feel like some of the challenges that are put in as well are a bit unnecessary. A lot of the bookings we're getting unnecessary as well. We've got such a poor disciplinary record, and I think hopefully it comes across us when it really matters, because we keep getting these players suspended. It's going to be alright. We've got Fofana out this week, another red card, and it just makes you wonder what's going to happen next. And but that said, I do have a lot of faith in Rosinier. I'm really, really glad he's at the club, and I know a lot of people aren't, because the experienced manager, and I was like that for a while, wanting the experienced, big name manager, proven winner. But I think Rosinier's got the personality and the characteristics of that type of manager. It's just whether or not he's going to be able to sort out the glaring problems we've got at the moment, which is 2 things in particular. Up front, not killing games off, and also the defence, which is the real worry for me, is the defence, because we score enough goals to win the games, but we can't seem to hold on to the lead because the defence is so shaky. So Arsenal coming up at the weekend, we're going to need probably one of, if not our best performance of the season so far to get anything out of this game. So let's just hope that on the day we can produce a really good performance.